All right. Hello. Hello. How's it going?
Good,
Yeah?
good. Yes, we are getting this recording done before we head up north for the holiday weekend. So we're like eager to check this box. Although this is the fun that we bake into our week. On Mondays we have a team meeting, and we start off with what were the wins for the week. So we're really in the right frame of mind to get through all of the other topics. But we always end with one thing that we're going to do that's going to be really fun or something we can look forward to. And for sure, this podcast, fits into that category. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. This is always a fun part of our week. It's a holiday week, not because of the 4th, because it's my mom's birthday weekend.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So we are going to be up at the cabin from today, Wednesday, till Monday, celebrating and doing all the things.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's been different this year. Like, I literally have not even thought about my birthday up until, I don't know, a couple days ago, which is so different than in years past. I am the person that anticipates my birthday, all of my family's birthdays, all of my friends' birthdays. Like, I get very excited about birthdays. And I just kind of realized this year I really didn't think a lot about my birthday. And, I'm turning 51, so I think I kind of left all of that extreme anticipation in my 40s. And that's okay. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Let's just say
Sure.
I'm less excited about turning
Sure.
51.
But she always is excited about her birthday.
Yes, I'm ready to celebrate for sure.
Yeah. We always do a big ordeal for my mom's birthday. It's definitely a national holiday, not because of the 4th. It's because of her birthday. And that's, I think, how it should be. I mean, you only get to celebrate your birthday once every year, so why not do it big?
Amen.
And
Amen.
we
That's
sure
why
do.
yeah. So when you guys see the fireworks, you can think of me, because I've always thought that the fireworks were in celebration of my birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've always kind of wondered if you like having your birthday so close to the 4th.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, I love having a summer birthday. I love having it close to a holiday because everybody is really in kind of that mindset of vacation mode. And yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's always easy to do something fun because we would probably be at the cabin regardless of the 4th, or of your birthday,
Yeah.
because of the 4th. So
Yep.
it's always a good time to celebrate. But I feel like when you're younger, summer birthdays aren't as fun.
Are
Did
you
you ever
serious?
feel that way?
No, 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 no. I think summer birthdays are awesome because you can be outside. Like it,
Well,
I feel
I
like it
agree
lends
that there's a
itself
lot
to.
more going on in the summer, but I feel like people, at least like friends that I know that have summer birthdays, they didn't love it when we were like in school because
It didn't get recognized
yeah,
because you were in school.
yeah, like you're not around all your friends by default because of school. So,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it never bothered me, but I mean, we had like big pool parties and
yeah,
things like that. So
that's
I
true.
loved, and my birthday's July 1st, which that always feels special being on the very first day of a month. And one, the number one has always been like my favorite number. And I love the number 7 as well. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's exciting. She doesn't know exactly what we're doing for her birthday, but just that we'll be at the cabin celebrating and stuff with friends and family. So you'll hear all about it on next week's podcast so that we don't give it away. But yeah, it'll be fun for sure. I feel like she doesn't want to dive into her birthday. She doesn't want to keep this episode all about her birthday, but I think we should answer a couple of questions
Okay.
about it. Like, what does turning 51 mean to you?
Um, it definitely, I would say there's I have more of an emotional maturity. And obviously that stems from the business that I'm in. I really believe wholeheartedly that my thoughts, the way I choose to think about things, are responsible for the way I feel. And so if you kind of reverse architect that, if I'm feeling in a way that I don't want to be feeling, if I'm feeling sad or depressed or like a victim, I have control over that. And so I think, just the awareness of how much control I actually have becomes more and more apparent, I guess, the older I get. I would say, turning 51, you get more experiences. You gain a lot more wisdom through those experiences. I have a lot more self-confidence. And I don't know, I guess I don't know if it's more self-confidence or it's less of the kind of saboteur thoughts. Like I used to be very strategic about everything I did in fear of what other people would think of me. And I find myself doing less and less of that kind of thinking. Now I really appreciate the people that I get to surround myself with, my clients and my family and my friends. And I just know that, these are the people that I've been very strategic about, having in my inner circle. And I know that they love me and they support me and they encourage me. And I know that, they're not judging me. And if they do, that's kind of human nature. And so I just don't worry about that as much. So I feel like I have a lot more self-confidence and a lot less of those saboteur kind of limiting beliefs that kept me kind of living my best life. And, that has really become more apparent, I would say, just in the last few years. And so it's very liberating. It's a very freeing way to live. Appreciation for health, for sure. We've had a few health scares within our family, more of our extended family, that has really made me appreciate health a lot more this year in particular.
And even this week in general, talk about how you've been sick.
Yeah, I have a cold, and I was a little bummed out when I got sick, and I was thinking, what the heck? I don't really get sick that often.
And yesterday, it was seeming like you were really going to be sick.
Yeah, it knocked me down.
Like she lost her voice.
Yeah, and that's a little rough when you have, I was on multiple podcasts and I have multiple coaching calls, and I felt actually pretty good. It was just, I didn't sound very good. So that always heightens your awareness and appreciation for when you are feeling good. And that's how I kind of choose to look at it. Like, of course, I'm going to get sick. I am a human being, and that's going to happen. And the gift in all of that is that it really makes me appreciate how much of my life I live in a really healthy state. And I wouldn't have that kind of appreciation if I didn't get sick, so it's necessary.
Yeah, and I can definitely relate. I'm always sick, like literally always sick. I just have a horrible immune system. I'm trying to help make that better, but there's definitely been bigger events. My birthday, I've been really, really sick on my birthday a couple of times, like even times that we had like really big celebration plans and they had to be canceled because of my birthday. And I definitely feel like that with getting older and I guess learning how to self-coach and things like that has definitely completely changed like how I act and react to being sick these days. I feel like graduation was a good example for me. I was ridiculously sick on my graduation day. I had double pink eye. I was almost positive I had a sinus infection. You couldn't even hear me. I couldn't talk to anybody on graduation day. So and then we had family over that weekend after.
We had to move you out.
and we had to move me out. There were so many things going on, and like the old me would have basically canceled graduation. I would be like, nope, I'm not doing it. This, like, poor me. I can't believe I'm this sick again. And it's like all of my friends like get to enjoy this. Like, I've been doing all the same things my friends have been doing. Like, why am I always the one that gets so sick? Like, what the heck?
But you did handle it like a trooper. Like, you
Yeah.
were really...
I feel like that has definitely changed for me, is how I handle being sick, I guess, how I think about it, because it's like I only graduate college once in life, and it's like, you're really gonna let being sick ruin that and like completely destroy the weekend, which was such a big and fun weekend. Even though I was so sick, it was still really fun and enjoyable. But it's things like that that it can be really easy to get caught up in, and like, she could have very easily just been like sad and crabby about being so sick, right on the verge of her big birthday weekend. But it's like, because she just recognized it and decided to take care of herself instead of probably moping and like eating like bad foods and stuff to like comfort her.
Well,
Now
I did
she's
do
feeling
a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things we talked about actually on today's group coaching call was, you know, do you operate your life from like the belief that you are the cause, or that you are responsible for your feelings, or are you at the effect of circumstances? Are your feelings the effect of circumstances? So it's really like, it's a cause and effect, understanding that, you know, there's always a root cause, and that's your thinking.
Yeah.
It's not the root cause of your feelings, is not the circumstances. It's not being sick.
Right.
The root cause of how you're feeling from an emotional standpoint is how you're thinking about being sick.
Totally.
And
you can't change the
yeah.
fact that you're sick. I
Yeah.
mean, you'll get better, but in that moment or that weekend or whatever you have going on that you feel like,
Yeah.
It's-
Well, and the crazy thing is that there's a lot of studies out there, one in particular that I've recently read, that says that you live on average 10 years longer when you have strong mental fitness. And, you know, so much of that, there's a lot at play with that, you know, from a hormonal standpoint, cortisol, things like that. But, you know, having strong mental fitness and recognizing that you have a choice to think about every single circumstance in a way that feels good, is a huge awakening for some people. And so just ask yourself, are you somebody who reserves happiness for the good days, for the vacations, for the number on the scale, for the dollar amount in your bank account? Are you reserving happiness for those kind of effects? If you are, you don't have to wait, because, you know, ultimately you're missing out on so much happiness, or whatever it is that you want to be feeling, satisfied or encouraged or curious or inspired. All of those wanted feelings are available to you right now, because you are the cause of those feelings simply by how you're choosing to think.
yeah, for sure.
So there's a lot of, you know, doorways into exercising that, strengthening your mental fitness. And that's literally what we do at Self-Made You. It's like really understanding the core concept first and foremost, and then kind of understanding the neuroscience, because we were all born with the same 3-pound organ between our ears. It, for the most part, that organ operates, you know, the same as everybody else. So really understanding you're not broken, you're just operating from the wrong part of your brain. And we've never been taught to operate from the prefrontal cortex.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest thing, is like, we've never been taught. And I think that sometimes, like, when people hear like life coaching or coaching in general, like self-coaching, mental fitness, like, I think sometimes it sounds like a little woo-woo to people, like, that aren't like familiar with it, and are just like, yeah, okay, like, I get it. Like, it's not as easy as just changing your thoughts. Like, I think some people like have that resistance built up because it sounds like it diminishes the like how you're actually feeling about the circumstance, but really it's that you've never been taught to think differently about circumstances that give you unwanted feelings. And I feel like it is like a simple mind shift to be thinking about these things in a different way. It's not like you have to spin everything in your life that is going wrong into something positive. It's not like but when you're sitting there dwelling on something that is like creating really unwanted feelings for you, that's when it's time to like put your thoughts in check and realize that you don't have to be feeling this way ever. You don't ever have to be feeling an unwanted feeling if you don't want to. If you choose to think a different way about it, you never have to feel an unwanted feeling longer than you want.
And that's true under any circumstance. I mean, even some of the most extreme circumstances, it's true. And yeah. So we teach people, kind of the tools around that, how to think differently, because that's not something that most of us were taught through our formal education system. So
Yeah.
I love to teach that because it's absolutely been the number one most life-changing part of like who I have become. That is for sure the biggest change. I will admit that I was somebody that hinged my happiness on, the good and the bad days.
Totally. And I think that's so normal. I think that that's
Yeah.
how a lot of people live. And I mean, I feel like you're definitely a good example of like how this has changed your life. I mean, your lifestyle, life in general, but it's just like for things like a big birthday weekend that you probably would have been really sad about being sick for, and let like it ruin the entire week leading up to it. Now you have a different mindset on it, and you can appreciate the fact that you are healthy 90% of the time. Like you have gone all year without being sick. And so this one time that you are sick, you are putting it in perspective rather than getting upset and letting it ruin your week. You're putting it in perspective of the fact that you are healthy majority of the time.
Yeah. And one other thing that just kind of occurred to me is, people who know me really well would probably say, that she is a relatively optimistic person. And I would say that's definitely true. I would say that before I really understood these concepts, I would have high highs and I would have low lows. And now, if you are somebody who spends a lot of time with me, I'm very like even keeled. I would say I stay in kind of a moderate zone. I don't have high highs. I don't have low lows. It's just kind of this wave, that, and I appreciate the lows and I appreciate, the upticks for sure. But I do think that when you have strong mental fitness, you also recognize the fewer highs.
Yeah.
So I think it's talked a lot about you navigate the lows better. But I also want to really kind of point out that you also start to notice that you don't have so many of the high highs. I operated with this like belief that good things or, birthdays needed to be better. Like I had some weird belief that it was never enough. And that led me to over drinking and often overeating. And so I would create these high highs, but they were very artificial. And I don't need that anymore because I know how to manage my emotions.
Yeah.
And now if you were to kind of step back and look at my life, the big picture of it, you would absolutely see fewer high highs. And, and you can make that mean whatever you want. I personally like to just make that mean that I live a very like kind of moderate life as far as, on that emotional spectrum. And that feels good to me.
And I think it's good to note that it can look different and feel different to everyone too. I mean, if you are somebody that really does enjoy those high highs, like absolutely like celebrate those and give yourself that moment. And or if you're somebody that experiences really low lows, like it's normal and it's very human to get stuck on either side of that. And I think that that is just part of like strengthening your mental fitness, is learning how to regulate that, whether it's good or bad. And I think in your case, you're saying that those high highs weren't always genuine to you. And so being able to regulate that or regulate your emotions so that you don't feel like it's necessary to put on those high highs for yourself, I think is really important.
Yeah. That underlying belief that, I'm not enough, this isn't enough, there always has to be more, often drives that desire to like compound even those good feelings. So it can be, that even good feelings sometimes are hard for people to manage. I think that's worth noting. People who don't understand how to manage their emotions, we're not only talking about the unwanted emotions, we're talking about the wanted ones too. They think that, if you have this, if you're operating at this level of happiness, this is going to be better. More is always better. And so they, their kind of misguided approach is to compound, often with like unnatural substances, or, outside substances to create more of that extreme, because they can't actually just be, okay or accept these feelings that they're having as normal. So it's a difficult concept to explain, but it just hit me that is definitely something as I've aged, I really recognize that I'm way more moderate in and I do think that plays a part in like not anticipating and making such a huge deal about my birthday, maybe, 2 months ahead of time. Because I am so much more satisfied with every single day that I really don't need to make such a huge deal or anticipate for so long one day.
Right.
Because I am so satisfied with what all of the other days around that one day looks like. I really do believe that to be true. That's part of why the birthday month looks a little different.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm curious to know if that's something that has changed within the last year.
Yeah, I honestly, like we've talked about this state of becoming, I'm forever evolving.
Yeah.
And so for sure, I have changed dramatically in the last year because I am in this state of becoming. Yeah, and I'm sure next year at this time, hopefully we're still sitting here doing this podcast, I'll probably say the same thing,
Yeah.
And it's super exciting when you believe, like what we believe, that we're in control of all of our results, all of our circumstances, all of our results. We are 100% in control of those. Like, holy cow, if you can create anything it is that you really desire,
Yeah.
you're absolutely limitless. And that, it's a matter of time. And, and that's the other thing is like, I don't actually worry about how long things are taking to create as much. I haven't conquered that yet,
Yeah.
but my patience has definitely grown. I absolutely 2 years ago, I would have said, patience is not one of my strong suits. Now because I have learned to really enjoy the moments, and I really recognize how much control I have over my happiness moment by moment by moment, I have so much more patience for what is coming.
Yeah.
Just, I know that I am responsible for what it is that I'm creating, and I'm okay with that journey. And I recognize there's so much value in the journey that I'm not anticipating these finish line, rewards anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's more about recognizing the smaller wins too.
Yeah,
that plays a big
you
part
start
in
to
that.
take your eye off the ball of the scale, right? You start to take your eye off of your finger off the pulse of the bank account. All of those things that you thought you had to have, and once you have it, you'll be happy. All of those things just start to fade away, and you realize what's really important is the moments that lead you to that. Those things are coming. If you really desire them,
Yeah.
the law of attraction says, the universal law is that it's coming. The only thing that's going to block it from coming is the way that you're thinking about it. And so, yeah, that has definitely changed for me in the last year.
Yeah, with goals specifically, it's kind of like one of those things where you just need to get out of your own way. And I think that that's something that people kind of lose sight of because they are so motivated at the beginning, and then maybe they aren't achieving things as fast as they thought they would. Like our business, for example, we have really big goals for our business and really big aspirations, and I think we both know like 110% that we're going to hit them. And it used to be, why haven't we hit them yet? Or why is it taking so long? And I think that that's something that's changed for both of us is, I mean, especially, we were talking about this earlier this week, and just if we had hit those goals, or say we hit those goals like this weekend, it kind of, we put it in a different perspective of, well, then what? Then what would we have done if we had made all this money right off the bat and not really even like been able to appreciate the journey to making X amount of dollars or having this many clients within our company? It's like, it's part of the journey, and like that finish line is the experience that you have like getting there.
Yeah, it's the culmination, and you only appreciate it because you've had all these moments. Like, we'll appreciate that dollar amount or that whatever that goal is, that certain revenue, because the moments that led to it, every single client that led to that was really the reward, and without being able to, witness or experience each one of those clients and only jumping to that finish line, we would have absolutely been robbed of what actually mattered,
and that happiness would have only lasted so long. It only would have, like, that excitement, and like how it is at the beginning of trying to reach a goal, it's like you can only hold on to that like artificial excitement or whatever it may be for so long until it fades, and it's like, or whatever, you earn so much money, and then what? It's like money is only money for so long. After you have so much, it's like, well, then it doesn't really matter to you anymore. And it's like, we recognize that when we were talking about it earlier this week, that it really wouldn't matter after a certain amount of time if we didn't have this whole journey leading up to it, and like the appreciation leading up to that goal or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. One of these episodes we'll have to like share our goals.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That'll be a good one.
We definitely will.
Yeah. Oh, I said, feeling limitless, I think it is fleeting for me, but my gosh, when I feel like that, like unstoppable or limitless, It is such a like euphoric feeling, and it's one that I can really kind of call in as I want to. I just seem to kind of forget that it's available to me, but when I'm there, I'm like, holy cow, this is crazy. This
Yeah.
is so crazy that, but I think that the mind-blowing reality of that is so mind-blowing because I've only experienced the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I have so been there where I felt so trapped and
Yeah.
so, at the effect of things, like victim to certain things, that I think that's why I feel almost euphoric when I think about the kind of control that I have. So that gives me such appreciation for where I've been.
Yeah. That's always my number one thought. If I get stuck on something, like if I have that thought that why aren't we like further type of thought, I always go back to like our potential is so uncapped. Like
Yeah.
it's so limitless in all areas of our lives. Like anytime I feel stuck or defeated or whatever the case may be with any situation in life, I feel like switching it to a thought of this, that is the potential is so limitless, like with whatever it may be, with friends, like when I think about leaving my friends from school, it's like it makes me feel sad, and it's like we're all in different places, and it's hard sometimes to stay as close as you were when we all lived together in the same house and stuff like that. But I also, then if I flip that and it's like the potential, like as we get older, it's like, no, we have all of these new places now that we get to visit each other in. And it's not just like Eau Claire that we have in common or that we get to see each other. Like if you make the effort, like you can be in all of these new and exciting places for each other and with each other and all of that. And the potential of meeting all of these new people that I haven't met, that I wouldn't have met if I stayed in Eau Claire type
Right.
of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like in any situation in your life, you can always look at it, the potential being limitless for yourself.
And I think that kind of goes back to the becoming, like being in that state of becoming. There's limitless potential.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so fun to embrace that state. Limitless is the name of a docuseries that I just finished watching. I gave myself the birthday present of watching Chris Hemsworth for a number of hours. Oh my gosh, that's Thor for all of you who don't know who Chris Hemsworth is.
Yeah, I think everyone knows who he
Yes.
is.
Oh my gosh. So this docu-series is on the National Geographic network or station. I think you can get it streamed through Hulu, I think is how I watched it. But
Probably.
they have, I don't know, there might be like 8 to 10 episodes, and they're really focused on a different way of living life and living a longer, more fulfilling life. And so they take him through these experiments. So one is like on shock, like cold temperature shocks, or the shock of being up high, or different types of fear reactions. There was one on fasting, which I thought was super interesting. There was another one, oh my gosh,
Being old.
strength. Yeah, strength. There was one on memory.
Or
And then
getting
the
old.
very last one was on aging or death and dying. And I thought, how appropriate. I literally just watched it, not yesterday, but the day before.
The other night.
Yeah. And it was pretty emotional. Like, Dad was sitting next to me and he was crying like like a little baby. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's way more emotional than I am. But it was such an endearing episode. I highly recommend all of them, but that one in particular was so good because it just really has you reflecting on your own mortality and, appreciating what it is that you currently have, and, recognizing that if you are fearing death, you're wasting so much precious time, living right now. And so there is nothing to fear. It's a very natural part of life. And so
it's definitely out of our control.
absolutely. Right. And so I highly recommend that. I thought it was interesting because I had, within the last month, I put an app on my phone that's called We Croak. It's and the little logo or icon is a little frog. It's so cute. But you turn your notifications to on when you download this app, and I can't remember. I want to say it's like $1.99 a month or something, and
Of course you bought this.
it sends you like, I don't even know, I bet I get one every hour, a little reminder that you're going to die.
God. Oh.
And
Okay.
I know it sounds crazy, but it is such a good reminder because it puts you back in the moment, and it really...
You need that every single hour?
Well, I'm actually not looking at my phone that often, so...
So you get five, you look at 5 in a row telling you you're going to die?
No, if I'm not looking at my phone when the notification comes in, then I miss it, but...
Oh, it goes away?
It goes away, yeah. But every once in a while I happen to catch it, and I just kind of giggle to myself because I think, A, it's a funny app to have on your phone, and being reminded that you're going to die is kind of an unconventional way of being more present. And it has some pretty like deep, thought-provoking quotes.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of a way, like a little bit of a mindfulness technique too. So
does it actually
I
like
highly
croak
recommend
at
it.
you?
No.
Have you tried having the noise on?
No.
I bet it does.
Oh, it might, yeah. But I think it's hilarious that that's what it's called.
Oh my God. Yeah, I guess whatever works for you. That's funny. I feel like it definitely does make a noise, and it's funny that you have an app like that when you get so mad at Dad's donkey app or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Isn't it a donkey?
I think it's Donkey Fish or something. Yeah. He had it in the kitchen one morning, and it was, I'm like, where is this donkey sound coming from?
She thought it was did you think it was a dog?
Yeah, I thought it was a dog like choking or something. So I went running to the kitchen. I'm like, what is this noise? It sounds like a donkey. And then I looked down at the phone. It was his phone, and it's called like Donkey Fish or Donkey Catch or something. And
For his fishing league.
His fishing league. And so he happened to actually miss that night of fishing league. And so every time somebody catches a fish and like enters it into the app that they, that they score their evening on.
Which is so dumb.
Why
does that make sense?
I have no idea. But I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to
hear it. Because they're so focused on their fishing that they need a donkey noise to tell them that somebody else has caught a fish.
Who knows? It was cute though. I was like, oh, that's very clever.
Cute? No, she was not thinking that's very clever when it was going off.
Was choking to death, it was not funny. And then when I realized that what it was, it's fine.
Okay. Well, we're getting close on time. Why don't we wrap it up with, I want to know what your most favorite birthday was.
Well, last year was really fun, turning 50. We road tripped to South Dakota, and one of my besties out there, her and then some besties from here, kind of created a really fun experience, like a weekend-long experience in Hill City, South Dakota. So that was really fun and memorable. One that really stands out to me, though, was my 38th birthday. I think it was my 38th, where we rented a house here in Lakeville on one of the lakes. And it was just really fun because we were local, so everybody could come to that lake. We had a beach for the weekend.
Is that the year he had a band?
Yep, Dad hired a band. It was actually just like a one-man band.
Which is what last year's was too.
Yeah. There always has to be music involved.
Yeah.
I love live music,
Yeah.
especially outdoor live music. So that's been a part of many birthdays, which I so appreciate. So that one kind of stands out too because there was a lot of people kind of in and out. You know, we kind of made it easy on people. Yeah, those are probably another one. Like I think my 30th, my bestie from Spokane flew
Yeah.
in and surprised me. That was super fun, very unexpected. I would honestly say I'm not often caught off guard. Like
Yeah.
surprises, I'm pretty like intuitive, like so I pick up on any whispering or any things that are being put into play. And so that actually did surprise me. I was not expecting to see her. So that
You
that
guys
was
don't
cool.
get to see each other that much either.
No.
She lives back in your hometown.
Yes.
We tried to get her for last year too, but
Yeah.
they have really busy schedules.
Yeah. So her and I both obviously turned 50 the same year. We went
Yeah.
to school since the 5th grade on.
Yeah.
And so I actually flew out to Spokane earlier, prior to my birthday. Her birthday's in September. And we went to the New Kids on the Block concert because they were like,
Which nobody my age will know what that is.
they were our everything growing
Yeah.
up. And so
the hot boy band.
oh my gosh, it was so much
But then
fun.
tell them what it was actually like. Were you guys like laughing like the entire time?
Yes, because they played a lot of like songs that we actually didn't know. Apparently, they had like many albums after we stopped following them, and that was a lot of the songs. But it was called the mixtape tour, so it was Rick Astley, En Vogue, Salt and Peppa, New Kids on the Block. I mean, there was a lot of these 80s bands, and so it was super fun. But yeah, we laughed kind of through the whole thing, and
Because they're not like the hot boy band that they used
no,
to
they
be.
think they're the hot boy
Yeah.
band. That was
Yeah.
pretty funny, like to watch them, and I kind of felt like that was part of the shtick. Like you literally were trying to figure out, do they really think that they're still all that in a bag of
I
chips?
mean, could be.
Like it's hard to tell. Like you can't really tell. They're either really put on or, you
Yeah.
know, just kind of, I don't know. But my God, the women, the way they screamed, you would have thought that they were like 13-year-old girls. It was so much fun. It was just so
Yeah,
much
that's
fun to be
awesome.
there and to kind of relive some of those moments when they did sing the songs that we knew. Yeah, it was a good time, but it was so fun just to spend time with Heather, and her family is like, they're my second family. That's the family I grew up with. So yeah, it was super special to be able to go back to Spokane for a weekend.
Yeah, well, all right. I think that kind of wraps up episode 4.
Yeah,
And we are off to start our celebrating.
awesome. All right, we'll see you next week.